theoretical framework that is well developed or formulated and clearly articulated, clearly delineate the writing of research of scholars from that of journalists. Hello everyone, welcome. I am Teacher Sherwin. In this video, we are going to learn the concepts and techniques in developing a sound theoretical framework. Before going into the details in developing a theoretical framework, let us first define what a theory is and what a framework is. Gabriel, 2008, defined theory as a generalized statement of abstractions or ideas that asserts, explains, or predicts relationships or connections between or among phenomena within the limits of critical bounding assumptions that the theory explicitly makes. Carlinger and Lee, 2011, defined theory as a set of interrelated concepts or constructs, propositions, and even definitions that reflects a systematic view of phenomena by clearly specifying relationships among variables with the purpose of explaining and even in predicting the phenomena. On the other hand, framework is defined as a set of ideas that you use when you are forming your decisions and judgments. With these definitions, we can frame that a theoretical framework is a structure or a blueprint that highlights or summarizes the theories or the concepts with their definitions or contentions that are relevant in your study. Eisenhardt, 1991, defined a theoretical framework as a structure that guides research by relying on a formal theory constructed by using an established, coherent explanation of certain phenomena and relationships. It is also defined as an underlying structure, the scaffolding or frame of your study. It should always be remembered that a theoretical framework for your research proposal or thesis or even in your dissertation is not a summary of your own thoughts about your research or something that is readily available in the literature, but rather, it is a clear and exhaustive synthesis of the thoughts of the authors in your chosen field of research, how you understand those theories, and how those theories are applicable in your research context. Theoretical framework is an essential ingredient in doing research. Neumann, 1997, asserted that a theoretical framework helps the researcher establish a scholarly foundation for all your sense-making of the meaning contained in your data. It enables you to report your findings in an evaluative, analytical, and even in a more creative way. Clearly, a theoretical framework strengthens and deepens the academic and scholastic flavor of your arguments reflected in your research project. Selecting an appropriate theoretical framework to be reflected in your research paper is highly important and necessary. It requires the researcher to establish a deep and thoughtful understanding of the research interest or problem, including its purpose, the significance, and even how the researcher phrased the research questions. Here are some of the strategies that you may use when you develop your theoretical framework. First, you need to examine the research title and your research problem. The selected research problem greatly influence how you develop your theoretical framework. Second, you need to clearly and correctly identify the key variable or variables, construct or constructs of your research interest. When applicable, identify the independent, the dependent, or even the moderating or mediating variable, or variables in your study if there is, or there are. Third, review literatures and related studies to determine how the authors or scholars have addressed similar research problem. Fourth, examine or review theory or theories that can help explain the relationship or relationships of your identified variables. And fifth, contextually discuss the propositions, definitions, or assumptions of the authors on the identified theory or theories. Meaning you need to point out how this theory or these theories relevant in your research interest. The question is, how is it different with a conceptual framework? Ravitch and Riggin, 2017, asserts that a theoretical framework resides within a conceptual framework. While the conceptual framework captured or reflected the overall structure of the study or the research interest, the theoretical framework that resides or rests within this structure explains the relationships that the researcher explored in his or her study. In this video, we learned the concepts and techniques in developing a sound theoretical framework.